Good evening, everybody, and
Good evening.
welcome you all to this exciting session of UMANG, that is by the doctors, of the doctors, and for the doctors. So, UMANG basically is an endeavor to empower medicos, and exactly the tagline that you can see on the screen is like, never get so busy making a living that you forget to live a life. The team at UMANG is trying to bring a number of vital issues to the fore, initiates discussions between distinguished members who are invited into the panel, and through these discussions tries to make some difference in our lives by inspiring each other as well as inspiring the next generation. Through all this, we also expect that there is some amount of rejuvenation that happens from the dull routine of our daily life, and we are able to grow both mentally as well as physically and sometimes even spiritually. So this is going to be the 17th in a series of these kind of amazing meetings that have happened. Which was started first in 2021 January, and it was the first meeting was about nurturing the self, and Dr. Ambedkar was probably the first guest of this of UMANG. And since then, a number of other topics like work-life balance and words work wonders, etc., and beating burnout, alchemy of money, and so many other the human within all of us, and so many other topics which definitely have served to inspire a lot of people, and at the same time, provide a lot of positivity in the dark times that we have been seeing from the last 2 years. So without further ado, I think now let's go ahead and just 1 minute. I think I just hit my So here we have today's our topic was about Zindagi na Milegi Dobara, and so we have on our first slide itself a beautiful line from this movie which says that अपने काम को अपनी लाइफ के साथ कंफ्यूज मत करना, एंड तुम्हारा काम तुम्हारी लाइफ नहीं है, सिर्फ उसका एक हिस्सा है. So this is one of the protagonists of the movie says this beautiful dialogue, and sort of loosely based on this premise, we are going to have all our guests talking to us today. And it's my pleasure to welcome my co-moderator for this session, Dr. Srinivas. He is a pediatric cardiologist, and the beautiful image that you see behind him is that of Thane itself. He is an avid trekker and regularly does an annual pilgrimage to the Himalayas. This is his beautiful family. He's seen here with his wife and his son, who is also, I think, now bitten by the bug of starting to trek. And here there are a number of photos of his other passion in life, which is his work. And you can see his team members, the entire pediatric cardiac unit in the cath lab, as well as doing some very complicated stuff with the young neonate's heart. So, Srinivas.
Thanks, Venkat. Venkat, again, my dear friend, who is again a very avid trekker. So he also does this annual Himalayan pilgrimage. A very good singer. So usually he's the center of attraction in most of the parties. Great human being, very good friend. So this is his family. Again, he's also trying to motivate his wife and kid into trekking. Today's common factor amongst all of us is everybody has a common profession, that is being doctors. They have all excelled in their professions. Apart from that, they also pursued their hobbies very seriously. So when you have a serious hobby and when you have a serious profession, how do we balance it? So let us get inspiration from our
plastic surgeon. I don't know who is first. Srinivas is cardiologist.
Yeah. So thank you. So let's welcome all our guests. Venkat.
Yeah. We have a set of eminent speakers with us today. It's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Roopwate. Sir is a pulmonologist. He's been a trekker for life, and recently he has authored the book called Mountain Man Medicine. I welcome you, sir. I welcome Dr. Anil Bradu. He's a urologist and he's the founder of a very successful singing group called the Tuning Folks. I'm sure many of you must have already attended some programs of theirs. And it's also my pleasure to invite Dr. Vaijayanti Ingavale, madam. Madam is a pediatrician, an acclaimed runner, and a fitness as well as a yoga enthusiast. Welcome, madam, to this forum. Let's start our talks with our first panelist, Dr. Roopwate sir. So if you think adventure is dangerous, try routine. It's even lethal. That's what Paulo Coelho has said in this saying. And the other common thing that you always read about is that the mountains are calling, and I must go. So this is the beginning of the mountains, which I'm sure sir has been heeding since his childhood. I invite Dr. Srinivas to introduce our speaker for that.
Thanks, Venkat.
Thank you, Dr. Venkat, Dr.
Yeah.
Srinivas,
Yeah.
Dr. Vishram here.
Yes, Vishram.
Can I just request you before they start that the host of this meeting can mute all the people except the speakers?
Yeah, we are doing that.
That would be a great idea.
Thank you. We have told that. Thank you, Vishram.
Thanks, Vishram. So, Roopwate sir, thank you very much for accepting our invitation, sir. Sir, as we all know, is a very eminent pulmonologist, very well known, and sir is MBBS, MD, DNB, KM Hospital. He has done several fellowships in UK, Tel Aviv, and Scotland between 1990 and 1997. He has been trekking since school days. So he has trekked for more than 200 Sahyadri forts. I think there are total only 400 plus forts, of which the trekkable forts are 200 plus. I think sir has trekked every trekkable fort in Sahyadri as possible. So sir has also done very exotic treks like Scottish Highlands, US, South American treks, Siberia, and even Antarctica. I hope today we get to interact with sir and get a glimpse into some of this. Sir has already also completed a basic mountaineering course from Manali. So he was the expedition doctor for the first ever civilian expedition to Kanchenjunga, which is definitely a very, very highly coveted post. Sir has extensively written about for mountaineering journals regularly, and he has recently published his own book called as Mountain Man and Medicine. We welcome you, sir. And hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we welcome you. Yes, okay, sir, we can hear you.
Thank
sir,
you.
Sir, how did you get into trekking, sir? What made you go into trekking, sir?
Very difficult question. Actually, if you really ask me, I really don't know how I entered into this business or a hobby, whatever you want to say. But I say, as far as I remember, during our school times, they used to take us to the various forts in western parts. It was not like going to the resorts. Nowadays, the school children go to the resorts. Okay, and at our time, the schools used to take us to the various forts. And I still remember, I think when I was in 7th or 8th standard, they had taken us to the Fort Raigad. That is the place where Shivaji was thrown as a king of Maharashtra. And from that time, myself and my school friend, Mr. Milind Gunaji, probably you may be knowing him, actor, photographer, and writer. We are school friends, and from that time onwards, we used to go to the various mountains. So when I went to the MBBS days, there was a good mountaineering hiking club in KM Hospital, and one of my colleagues, Dr. Sumit Kumar, and my seniors, Dr. Pranay Shah, Dr. Mayur Patel, and all those things, we always used to go to the hikes every Saturday, Sunday. And we used to get the railway concession at that time. 50% railway fare were off. And most of the time, the problem was telling into the house where you are going. So we never used to tell them. We never used to tell in the house that we are going to do some rock climbing or some difficult trekking and all those things. We always used to say that we are going for a picnic or something like that. Then carrying the food was the biggest problem. But most of the time, whenever we used to have the trekking group going on, we always used to find out how many girls are coming. So 2-3 girls, whenever they are there, they used to get food for all of us. So all 10 or 15 of us always used to go, and then we used to do the trekking. I remember when I went for my final MBBS exam, Dr. G.B. Podukar was the dean, and he said that I'm not going to sign your papers for appearing for the final exams. I said, why? Every Saturday, Sunday, you are in the mountains. You come here for the signature to get the railway discounts. I'm sure you will not pass. I told him, sir, don't worry about the passing. I'll pass. Somehow I'll pass, but sign on it. Then during internship, every Saturday, Sunday, we used to go for a hike. And that time, for the first time, we went to the Himalayan trek. That was the Chandrakhani Pass in near Manali. And there I made a lot of interesting friends across the country from the different parts of the world. So during postgraduate days, we used to have a 10 days leave after 6 months. So those 10 days, we always used to go for a hike. And the people who used to come for a hike was Dr. Avinash Supe, probably he was speaker in your program earlier, Dean of KA Hospital.
Yes.
Then he was there with us. Then Dr. Prakash Vaidya, pediatrician from Mulund, Shishir Dhruva within USA. All of us used to go trekking regularly. The highlight came when in 1988, there was the first civilian expedition to Mount Kanchenjunga, the highest peak in the country. And Dr. Ravi Bapat was to go as an expedition doctor over there. Somehow 1 year before we lost our lecturer, Dr. Hilary Nazrat. For the same group who were going in that 1987, he died. So Dr. Ravi Bapat said that probably I may not join it. So they said that, okay, then the team approached me whether you will be able to come. And it was a great opportunity for me to become the doctor of such a big expedition. It was the first civilian expedition, 24 members across the country. And the budget at that time was 25 lakh rupees. And we had a lot of trouble making this, getting this money at that period of time. So on our advisory board, there was Dr. Arun Dahanukar, who was the All India Sugar Industry Chairman, MP Auki, the naval person. Then we had Nawang Gombu, who had climbed the Everest twice, and Sharad Pawar, who was on our advisory committee. And that time I still remember Mr. Sharad Pawar said that, एक रवि नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा, हमारे साथ दूसरा रवि तो है ही. Because Ravi Bapat had left and then I joined over there. So that was his sentence. And then that expedition really taught me everything about the mountaineering. It was a 100 days expedition, and everything right from the simple chest to the high altitude pulmonary edema to the death. Our deputy leader died because of the hypoxia on 17th May 1988 because of the hypothermia and the hypoxia. So that was the thing that really made me really look into the mountains in a different way. And then I started looking at it at a different way. And from that time onwards, I'm doing trekking into the Indian Himalayas almost every year across the world, been to the Antarctica, been to the Siberia, and did a lot of Munros in the Scotland with my British professor with whom I did my fellowship. And this is my photograph of Antarctica, 7 Indians. One of them is Dr. Kedar Munshi. He's Kayamite. I met him over there. And I always tell everyone, you can meet Kayamites any corner of the world. So we meet at Antarctica. We never met in India. Okay.
Sir, you said something about taking permission from home is the most difficult thing for you.
Yes.
So did it stop after your childhood, or it continued into your adulthood after you got married, after you had kids?
It continued. We always used to say we are going to Pune, and our Pune was somewhere, some of the forts in the Western Ghats. Okay, we are going to go to a friend's house in Pune. Pune was always a friend's house in some fort somewhere in the Sahyadris.
So, because
sir, I thought you were going to solve our problem, sir, by saying.
No. Nothing.
It's a practical problem for us also, sir. I mean, our families are always scared whenever we want to go to Himalayas. So any secret, how you will be able to convince them?
It's not a secret. I always used to tell my mother, and I also tell to my wife also nowadays, if somebody has to do it, why not me do it? Okay, so I always used to say, okay, somebody has to do it. Okay, I'll go and do it. And one of my friends wanted to join the army. I said, why all the way you have got good marks? Why do you want to join the army? So he gave me a statistics. Your chances of dying in the roads of Mumbai are 2 times higher than dying in the army in the battle. That is what he used to say. So I feel the same thing. Your chances of dying in the mountains are much less than dying in Indian in roads, especially in Mumbai and all around.
Statistically correct answer, but emotionally difficult to.
Emotions, okay, you learn to live with the emotions over a period of time and over a period of years and all those things, because it was a very great setback for us when we lost our deputy leader at that period of time, and then there was a huge uproar in the society, how it happened, this and that. But those people who have really gone to the mountains, to the different areas where there is no communication, nothing, they really know what are the difficulties and all those things. So I always feel that everyone should have some sort of a test in some sort of the mountain somewhere in the world. Okay, that makes them tough, both physically, mentally, spiritually, and everything.
So how do you manage when you are non-communicable for long periods of time, especially you say 100 days of non-communicable?
See, at present, you have got the mobiles and you have got satellite and all those things. At our time, there was nothing. Once you leave the house, till the time you come back to the house, nobody knows where you are. Okay, so that was the problem. For our expedition, we had a radio phone at that period of the time. Okay, so at certain period, at evening at 5 o'clock, somebody from Mumbai will send a radio message. That radio message will be read by the army person who is sitting over there, and then he will read out whatever it is there in their code language. Okay, so that time it was very difficult. That time I still remember one fun that had happened is that Srikant Lagu, the Lagu Bandhu Motiwale, he had sent a message. Our one of the deputy leader was Srikant Oak. He's a eminent lawyer in Thana. So Srikant Oak was expecting a baby. So the message came, Srikant Lagu had delivered a baby boy. Okay. So the problem was that Srikant Lagu was 60 years old, and we were all wondering how it is possible that a 60-year-old has got a. So the it was misinterpreted that it is for the Srikant Oak who had become a father. Okay, so that was the problem of the communication. So nowadays, so it's very easy. You can communicate with anyone, and it's very much easier. But that time it was really difficult. But this is somehow we managed it and we learned with that.
So most important question for all the medicos at least, how do you manage such a long absence from work? How do you excel in both the?
You see, we medicos are always on the constant fear that, "Arey, मैं नहीं रहूँगा तो मेरा practice का क्या होएगा?" Nothing of that sort happens. Okay, when you are not there in the practice, also the patients are being treated, and when you are not going to be there in the practice, the patients are going to be treated. So you don't have to really worry about that part of it. It's a question of only emergency patients, and the regular patients is a problem. So you keep a good locum, keep a communication with the locum, and tell him that he or she, whoever is there, to look after your patients in your absence, and patients do come back to you. Whatever happens, they do come back to you if you're good in that.
Sir, and I have not yet read your book, sir. I would like to have a copy of that book.
Yeah, I'll ask definitely.
Sir, what made you write that book, sir?
Okay, one of my friends.
Do you have it with you, sir? Can you just show it to our audience if you have?
Yeah, I can show it. Okay. Okay, this is the book. Okay.
Is it available on sale, sir, right now?
No. It's not for sale. I wrote it because I want to share the knowledge of mountaineering to the people. It's basically to the mountain lovers and various mountaineering institutes. I'm distributing it across the world. Only 750 copies were printed, and I'm in the process of sending to the different places, getting good reviews about that. I used to write regularly about the mountaineering things in the various journals. I still remember one of my first article which was published abroad was in European Journal of Epidemiology about my work, which I did it at high altitude at Kanchenjunga expedition, and it got very good recognition. And it was a landmark paper which shows that if you do the regular PFR monitoring, okay, you can predict which patients are going to develop the lung problems or those who are not going to develop the lung problems depending on those PFR readings. And people are using that PFR for measuring the lung capacities at the high altitude to find out who is fitter to go higher. So I used to write regularly. I used to write regularly in the Himalayan journals, regularly in the local newspapers and the magazines and all those things. So Mr. Ashwin Popad, who is was my very close friend, he died in Jupiter Hospital because of the pancreatic CA about a year back. So he was always a climbing partner. Whenever we used to go, he always used to be there. And we used to share the same tent for almost more than 35 to 40 years. So he said that you have got such a huge amount of experience. Why don't you write something? I still remember when we were in the school days and all those things. If you remember, in the local newspaper, Chalo Kashmir with Raja Rani travels and all those things. Nowadays, if you read any newspapers, Chalo Ladakh, Chalo Ladakh. So everybody is coming and asking, "Humko Ladakh jaane ka hai." Few doctors from Thana at present are there in the Ladakh itself, okay, doing the trekking and all those things. So to be very clear, in this year there is such a huge amount of rush in the in Ladakh that more than 36 people have died up till now. It is the latest figures I'm talking about in the just last 2 months, without any preparations, without knowing what is happening. They just go over there. These touring agencies do not tell you exactly what you are supposed to do, what you are not supposed to do. They just take you over there. They land up into acute mountain sickness, pulmonary edema, and they die. So now the Ladakh Leh Council has made a very clear rule that as soon as you land up in Leh, you're going to sleep for 48 hours without going anywhere. Once you are acclimatized, checked by the doctor, then only you'll be allowed to proceed further. So I thought that if so many people go over there without any proper knowledge, if I got some knowledge, let us share it to the different people. And that is why Ashwin bhai used to say, "Ye badbad karne se अच्छा है कि आप कुछ तो लिखो तो लोग पढ़ लेंगे." So that is how. And during the COVID times, all of you know that we used to have a very fixed timing of the duties. Okay, 8 hours or 10 hours or something like that. After you come home, you are not going out. No theater, no gardens, no friends, no relatives, no neighbors. So what are you going to do is sitting at home? So I pursued this. I wrote it in the. It was more of a scientific thing. So Ashwin's daughter was she has also authored many books. So I told her in memory of Ashwin, why don't I publish this book? And she helped me reading in a readable to a common man, and that is how the book was written, and it was published by Dr. Avinash Supe, my friend Milind Gunaji, and my climbing partner Charles Joshi on 7th of April last month. The book got published. I'm in the process of doing a reprint in the next 2 to 3 months, and a lot of people wanted to convert it into the Marathi. So one of my friend is making it Marathi, and most likely by November, December, the book will be ready for print, ready for the sale, both in English as well as the Marathi.
That's great, sir. It would be helpful to many. Venkat?
Yeah, definitely. We're really looking forward to getting some one of those.
I'll give you the author's copy. Don't worry about that. I'll give it to you. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So I think there's one last question again. I think before we wind up with your section and then go on to the next speaker, like, is there because there is a lot of definitely there is a risk of morbidity and obviously even mortality associated with trekking. So how do you get your family to be on the same page? How do you sensitize them and get it?
You acclimatize in the mountains, and I think my family is acclimatized to my adventure. So
acclimatization with the fears.
So they are acclimatized to my activities. I think that is not a problem.
Okay, sir. Right. I think with this beautiful last video that sir has sent us,
that is a lake Baikal. Okay.
Okay.
It's the longest lake in the world. It's in Siberia. Okay. It's about 750 kilometers long, 180 kilometers wide, and 1.6 kilometers deep. It is the longest freshwater lake in the world. Out of the world water, fresh water, 70% of the fresh water is in Antarctica, 20% is in the Lake Baikal, and remaining 10% is all other part of the world, including your Amazon and your river Ganges and your lakes and all those things. So these lakes contains as high as 20% of the fresh water in the world. One of the best places to visit. I think everybody should, if get a chance, should go over there and spend some time.
I'm sure everybody, all the participants are envying you, sir, of all your travels, and surely everybody would like to visit all these fantastic places that have been sort of showing on the slides. Thank you, sir. Temporarily, I think we'll just shift now, Srini.
Yeah, sir said he has 10,000 photos. So unfortunately, you could not show many of them.
More than 20,000 books. And I mean, I have to hire somebody to get them organized now.
We should probably have a museum, sir, or an exhibition of all those photos.
Some of my photographs are in the book, so you can make it out. Okay.
Thank you, sir. We'll come back to you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So they say you don't stop running because you get old. You get old because you stop running. So again, my second hobby, apart from trekking, is running. So no need to say that Madam Ingawale is one of the inspiration to me. So I keep meeting Madam during my runs in the morning. Every time I see her, so I feel that I have to increase my run by 2 more kilometers. So Madam is a great inspiration for us. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank
So
you,
Madam,
Dr. Srinivas. Thank you
Madam
so
is,
much.
Madam
Yeah.
is a consultant pediatrician practicing in Thane. So very enthusiastic, very kind to her patients. Most of the patients of Madam has really, really great regards for her motherly affection and kind care that she gives. Madam took up running in only 2012 and 2013 actually. Before that, probably Madam was not running professional level. She has participated in about 70 running events, including half and full marathons and a few ultra marathons. Ultra marathons are even up to 90 kilometers, 90 kilometers. So at various locations in India. Madam has been a very constant podium finisher in of late. So she has accomplished a lot in her running career. In 2018, she became only the second Indian female athlete to successfully complete after the age of 60 years in her maiden attempt, the two a grueling 90-kilometer Comrades Marathon in South Africa. This marathon is a highly acclaimed event, and this is a great accolade, madam. Recently, after a long break of 1.5 years forced by pandemic, she returned with a very spirited performance by completing 79.6 kilometers in 12 hours. That's amazing, amazing time, ma'am, at Mumbai Stadium Run. And then in April 22, she completed Ooty Ultra Marathon, again 60-kilometer run. Madam is married to Deepak Ingawale sir, an ex-banker who post-retirement also followed her into running and has done runs up to 42 kilometers. They have two sons and an adorable 9-year-old daughter who looks up to her as the most devoted listener of his ideas. So welcome you, man. Welcome. That's really a great, inspiring life journey that is in front of us.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be here with all of you. And that was a great saying you right in the beginning you put from Born to Run by McDougall. And
Yeah.
that's a great book, of course, which was my first inspiration. So thank you for that.
Ma'am, can you please enlighten us of your journey? Why did you start running, and what inspired you into running?
I was never a sports person. So I used to just do some yoga and a few other workouts usually. But then this was just out of curiosity. As I said, I read the book Born to Run, as well as I had read another book, Dare to Run, by Mr. Amit Seth here. He's an Indian who is a Comrades runner always. And then I really felt like doing it. Of course, our Dr. Neeta Sabu, she put me in this. And in fact, 2012 December, I thought I'll do something. And 2013 February, I ran my first 21 kilometers half marathon at Hiranandani, Thane. And you can look at it, my attire. I never knew what to wear also. I just went there and ran 21 kilometers.
Srini, you're muted, Srini.
Yeah. Madam, that's amazing. I mean, just running 21 kilometers out of nowhere, that is really amazing. Probably you are a natural runner. Ma'am, how do you juggle your passion with your commitments, your work, your family, especially as a lady has lots of other responsibility apart from profession. So this is an additional third profession that you are pursuing. How do you juggle between all of them, ma'am?
Right. So from 2013 to 2018, I was trying to be a real superwoman, doing everything right from the morning to midnight. And of course, that was very, very difficult to do all the roles. Then slowly I realized that you have to really share your time properly and have your own priorities. And then slowly I started really looking at running as an important priority in my life. And I think the things went ahead very well. I could do all those roles beautifully. So because of running, I could really start spending time together with my husband also. We went around for running so many places in India, outside India also. So as a wife, I think at least I was seen by my husband at least those times. And with my children, by the time, in fact, when I started running, my grandchild also had come because I have started so late. So baking cakes and doing things with them, I definitely enjoyed a lot. I was still doing my hospital duties, going for my calls, all those things, of course, as a doctor, I was trying to do. And then here, slowly, I decided that, okay, the family is my priority, my passion also I have to pursue along with my profession. So I just cut down a few things everywhere. So I could manage that and started enjoying also when properly it was managed. And of course, having time with your family and doing things together with them has really given me a lot of pleasure in my life now.
That's really amazing. I took 2 years to run my first 21 kilometers. So you started with 21 kilometers. That itself is amazing, man. Ma'am, what life transforming changes did you notice in yourself, and how did your body cope up with such a running? They say running is a very dangerous exercise. Running takes a toll on your body. So what did it do to your body? Was it a positive transformation or was it a negative transformation? Did you have any problems at all?
No, it was absolutely positive transformation. As it is, as everybody keeps teasing me, just because I am so light, I can just fly. So I don't have to do extra, I don't have to put extra efforts in doing it. But the first thing is, I think you need a lot of motivation, and then you need to be aware of yourself and to start doing other things in addition to what you are doing as passion. So to pursue that passion, you have to do some strengthening exercises, you have to look after your nutrition, and you have to know your body so that you can go slowly ahead. Especially for me, because of my age, everybody was worried, as well as I was never worried, of course, but then I knew that I have to take care of myself. I'm so happy that whatever I had forgotten about anatomy, physiology, I could read about it again and try to find out how the things are working in my body, all those muscles, all those joints, my heart. So then slowly, of course, it was a real pleasure to have more strength in myself, and I could do it in a better way.
That's a huge words of encouragement for people who wants to run, man. At least we should all start walking. There are 109 of us in the group now, attendees. At least all 109 of us should at least start walking from tomorrow after listening to it.
Sure. And doing that, of course, it really takes you to so many places, because running is such a sport that is, at least for us amateur runners, we are not doing it for any competition. We are doing it for ourselves, not even competing with ourselves. So like going to beautiful places, doing certain new things, as well as, of course, making new friends. This was the place in the US. We went by train just because we wanted to know the new friends there and how the world looks by going by that train. So we made so many friends on the train, on the road also. So that really is the amazing thing which happens. Otherwise, you are doing your profession, you are there, always bound there, and you don't get to see the other things in life. So this is one of the advantages I really saw. I could go see that. That's what we usually have been arranging our runs now. So wherever every run is done in a new place, though maybe it is full marathon 42 kilometers, it could be ultra marathon 60, 90, whatever it is. But then we find a new place to do it, so that either you really meet your friends, old friends, or you meet your relatives, near and dear ones, or make new friends, see the world, see the nature, be with the nature, and do again some new adventures going there. So that really is a lovely thing which has happened in life for all of us as a family also.
Venkat also is into running. Venkat, you want to ask something to madam?
Yeah, I mean, we are, I think, like, compared to what madam has been doing, we are like extremely amateurish in our attempts. But I would like to ask ma'am, like, what like sacrifices did you have to make, or to follow this passion? Was there some big time in terms of maybe not having some junk food, or whatever your heart desired? Was your this thing for fitness, does it come in day-to-day enjoyment, in the way of day-to-day enjoyment, or do you have to get up at like whatever 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock every day to do your trainings, and you're not able to get a proper night's sleep? Do these kind of sacrifices also figure, ma'am, like, and how important they are?
Yeah, initially, of course, you do feel, especially as you said, getting up early in the morning and getting out of your house to do that running. Yes, it is difficult. But then once I started enjoying, I never thought that it was a sacrifice. Professionally, I thought that, okay, whatever I like to do in profession, that I had to sacrifice, or maybe I had to really cut down on few things there. And as you said, of course, in food, yeah, I really love to eat lots of chocolates and lots of ice creams. Maybe I had to cut down on that. But then, okay, I still eat. I don't leave it. It's not a big sacrifice still.
I think the number of people who are going to walk tomorrow slowly reducing after.
Right. But I think whatever those endorphins are secreted when you are running, and then that
Absolutely.
feel good factor which comes there. So you don't mind then sacrificing on those items.
Absolutely. I think it's been a pleasure hearing about your journey, ma'am. Yeah. So I think this slide also says something, ma'am. Like, would you like to say what exactly you meant by this?
Yeah. So, of course, juggling with all these things, as we were all discussing about it. So sometimes, of course, you really don't know what you are really doing, what you really want to do, and then you are confused with a few things. So that I always felt that because of this passion, slowly when you are running, especially long distances and going to beautiful places, be with the nature, the mind cools down, and you really start accepting so many things, mainly about yourself and about others, definitely, and learn to really be with the beautiful things, and always you keep that little cute child alive within yourself, so you never feel that anything is impossible for you. Any age, people do ask me, at this age you do this. So initially I used to feel, what is this? At this age you continuously ask me. But now I think that also I should feel proud about it, and then I can really then inspire others that, okay, at any age, my husband has done it at the age of 60, 5 years. And okay, at this age also, if you can do it, it's a great thing, just because your child inside you is alive.
Absolutely, ma'am. Age is just a number. If you want to do something, I think you should just go ahead and do it.
I'm thinking we have a lot of age. I'll start after 60.
Yes. No, you all have been doing such great jobs. And just now listening to Dr. Rupavate sir, oh my God, amazing things he has done, and his passion and his knowledge, he's really done so many things there, and it's great to know about it.
I think one thing similar that I can say about running long distances and maybe trekking is that it's some sort of meditation that happens, and
No problem.
you get a lot of time to talk to yourself, and you sort of sort things out in your head. So
Yes,
yeah, so with a few things like this, I think now it's time to go for our third distinguished guest for the evening. And there's a beautiful saying by Ella Fitzgerald which says that the only thing better than singing is to do more singing. And it's an absolute pleasure for me to welcome Dr. Anil Bradu to this panel. Welcome, sir. Good evening and welcome. Sir is a consultant neurologist and has done his MS, MCH and DNB and FRCS of urology from London. He's an alumni from Sion and has his Excel Urology Center. Also is in Gen Specialty Hospital and Sushruta Hospital in Chembur and Sushruta Hospital in Dadar, Apollo in CBD, Navi Mumbai. He is the director of urology IMMAST, that is the Institute of Medicine and Minimal Access Surgical Training in Worli, and has been the past president of the Mumbai Urological Society as well as the IMA of Chembur. He is a Rotarian, and he is now the reason that he is here today. We are going to talk to him about he's the chairman of the Tuning Folks, which has been formed in 2012. It's a dedicated group of consultant doctors, co-founded by Dr. Anil Bradu as well as Dr. Manish Sharma. I've heard them perform. They're simply mind-blowing. And I'll allow Dr. Bradu himself to say a few more things about the Tuning Folks. So basically, they have been conducting auditorium-based music programs, and these are basically dedicated to raise awareness on certain medical as well as social problems. They have been raising charities in association with NGOs and dedicated organizations, and all the doctors who are performing, performers are doctors, and they are performing without charging any fee. So professional musicians led by Shri Ajay Madan are there in the team since 10 years. So welcome, Dr. Bradu. And sir, the first thing I want to ask you is, so when did you realize that, singing is more than just a passing hobby to you? I don't know whether you can just tell us about your musical journey and, since when you realized that you're such a phenomenal performer, maybe from college days or what, and how did Tuning Folks finally happen? So can you just give us?
So let me tell you honestly, I have never sung on stage right up till 2012.
That's like, I can't believe that, sir. So, I mean, looking at your presence on stage, it's difficult to believe. Yeah.
So I would be on stage for academic reasons, or I have been on stage for dramatics, or I have been on stage on elocution in school and college, but I never actually had the guts to go on stage to sing because simply because I had not actually learned music, and there were enough number of classmates who were talented and who had already gone through the grind, and therefore they always came up front on the stage, and I thought I was not fit enough person to be there. So what happened was in 2010, actually, a couple of years before we started the Tuning Folks, a group of doctors used to meet, and we used to meet in each other's homes, and every 2 months one would host that small program where about 15 or 16 of us would gather, and we would choose our songs, and a set of musicians who would rehearse with us, and then we would sing basically at home to each other, and we would tolerate each other, and we would clap even if we were not good. We would encourage each other, and sometimes our family also had to undergo that torture because it was hosted at home. I felt in around 2012 that if we think we are doing justice to this whole process of singing and meeting together and calling musicians, then we should actually test ourselves on stage. And when we decided that we should go on stage, I told my friend, Dr. Manish Sharma, in the first instance, look, we have to have the courage to do something which is close to professional, if not professional. Singing is pleasure if you're going to be able to share it with people, if people can hear us and if we can actually interact with them. And, stage is the correct medium to do so. But of course, we didn't have any support and we didn't have any courage to ask for anyone. It was, okay, we'll somehow manage funds for first 2 years, maybe do one program every 3 to 4 months, 4 months, every season do one program. And if by 5 programs, we manage to get someone to invite us to do a program, then maybe we have done something right and we'll then carry on. Also in these 5 programs, if we ourselves feel and our colleagues feel that we are just making a mess of everything, then we should just withdraw. And also, of course, if people seem to give us the feedback that they're enjoying what we're doing, then maybe we will go on from there. So that was how Tuning Folks started. And one of the other reasons why it kickstarted was I lost 2 very close friends. at that time to medical illnesses which came up suddenly. One, though suddenly without any, it was just like a sudden burst. And we lost our colleague, and I lost another friend around the same year. And something struck in my mind that our life is limited and we have only one life. I don't believe in Punarjanam and all this, that. I said, we have only one life. And most medical students in their schooling or in their college have been very bright students. And I would say more than 50% of them would have been active in so many aspects of, as far as their hobbies are concerned, or their whether it's sport is concerned or an art and culture is concerned. So we've just left that because we're completely dedicated to medicine, and it's only us who can come out of that and try and follow our passion. So auditorium, going onto the stage and getting a group of course, we were lucky that we had a like-minded medical professionals who were all consultants at that point of time in life. They'd already reached, they'd already struggled and they'd already become head of departments in different fields. I would like to acknowledge at this point, my wife, Dr. Renuka Bradu, is an ENT surgeon and head of department at Sion Hospital. And she herself is a very eloquent speaker and very good in debating. And she, you would have a critique in your house, was a very firm critique of all our group and said, I don't know what you guys are doing. You're just making a mess of what you're doing and you're making a fool of yourself in front of the audience. But when she saw the response in the audience and saw how they interacted, one of the very, very special moments is that in the audience, an elder couple, very elderly couple just comes, this doc, we don't know you. I mean, you don't know us, but we had such a great time coming for this program. I mean, the amount of satisfaction it gave us as well as the compares for the show encouraged my wife to actually say, oh, okay, I'm going to I would like to be the compare for your show. So she also got, attached to our programs, and she has been a very, very important part of the program. So that is how I think it just kick-started and one thing led to the other. And today, I mean, we are lucky that as medical professionals, people respect medical professionals. And when they actually see medical professionals come on stage and perform and make them happy, and mind you, we do not charge any guest who comes for a program. Tickets, they're all on invitation. Their tickets are not sold. So nobody really pays to come there. Doctors don't charge for performing. We only ensure that the auditorium, sound, light is professional and it is paid for. The musicians are paid for. So that, people who come to spend 3 hours in the auditorium don't feel cheated, that they're not getting value for the time which they're spending with us. And that's how we've been lucky that it's not just Mumbai where people know us, but even other parts of the country and various parts of the country, people have invited us. Generally, they've been medical colleagues, who one branch or the other for a cause that they have called us. The crux is that we've always maintained that we as medical professionals, if we go on stage out into the general domain of the public, should be doing it for some cause. If we are able to raise awareness for any relevant medical or social cause, if we're able to associate with NGOs or organizations who are doing good work, and we realize this over a period of time that whether it is for autism or whether it is for speech and hearing handicap, whether it's for cancer rehabilitation, whether it's for a girl child, whether it's for, cerebral problems, all these problems, there are so many NGOs working in these fields. The last program, in fact, we did was for gender, all these transgenders, how the importance of, in fact, 80 to 90% of the medical professionals do not know much about what happens with transgenders, what exactly is a transgender, what their problems are. And we learned in those 15-20 minutes of interaction with a couple of their representatives, what their lives are all about and how medical personnel can actually make a difference to the outlook of the community towards this, towards them.
Basically, so you can highlight social issues also.
Absolutely.
So a few things I take away, sir, from what you spoke, about your journey so far. First thing is that I guess you should not let your passions sort of die out, what you had in your early days. Second thing is, I think that you should, you should probably take some baby steps towards, just like how you, your first steps were to sit with your friends and have informal music sessions. and it always leads on to something great that has happened in your case. And the third one is that obviously there are going to be people who are going to criticize you. In your case, it was your wife. I mean, I think taking criticism from wives is a general thing for everybody, but to actually overcome it and actually convert her into one of your believers and somebody who supports you is really phenomenal. So the next sort of query that I would like to pose to you, sir, generally, like through this whole process, I'm sure, like from what you spoke also it is reflected, but how is this sort of improved, or whatever, what has happened to your interactions in your among your friends and family, and even your life and thought processes, sort of?
Well, I would think it has actually changed our lives dramatically, because through this, we have been in the tuning folks. I mean, it's part of a group. So I never thought that we should be, it's not like a solitary passion that I want to just sing in front of a camera or in front of an audience. I thought as a group, a program becomes very comprehensive. It becomes, like a package which everybody enjoys, because you will have a wide audience and something will appeal to some part of the audience and something may not. So we have a very good opportunity for medical consultants to come together as a group and come up like that. What it has done is, because from the first year, there were 3 programs in a year, it became 5 in the next year, it became 8 in the next year, it became 12 in the next year. And then we try to reason that we should be not more than 10 or 12 in a year. Now, if you actually look at every member of the tuning folks, everybody is a very, very busy practitioner. And for him or her to take out that time once in a month for a program and once for a complete rehearsal, mind you, none of us come and rehearse. In fact, barring 2 of our members, no one else is a trained singer. Only 2 of our ladies have learned music, and that was before they joined medicine. So that's years ago. They've not really practiced singing for a long period of time. So for us all to come together, we first of all bonded together as consultants. We are all from various walks of medicine. We have a plastic surgeon, cardiovascular surgeon, cardiologist, anesthetist, gynecologist, ophthalmologist, pathologist, you name it, dentist, periodontist, ENT surgeon, everybody all packaged here in this group. And we all have become a part of a new family. And this family integrates with so many other members. Each of us has a reach because of the amount of time we have spent in practice over the last 30 years. Everyone has a connect, has a reach, and everybody is able to reach immense number of people in the city of Mumbai and even outside Mumbai, which we tested during the pandemic. But like we never did a program with the idea that we're going to record it for it to be seen. In fact, whatever little we recorded, we never saw it after the program. It is the first time during the pandemic we realized the art of recording and editing a program which becomes worthy in itself, even for that little span of time which you're going to put it up on, upload it on YouTube. So even that was a learning process, how to actually shoot, how to actually record, how to edit, how to make sure that the final product is good. So all this has made us, the families of each of the tuning folks members have got connected to each other, and we all have got connected to so many more people in the community. Another important thing I realized is that whatever you may do in your own profession, you're doing it because you're trained in that profession and you're doing it for your livelihood and you're expected to be good in that. But if you're able to get out of your profession and do something else, either as a passion or a hobby or as a community service, and go out to people and you're able to reach out to people, then people appreciate it. In the initial part of our Tuning Folks campaign, some of my close friends used to say, come on now, doc, you're going to go and sing on stage, and you're going to be dancing sometimes on stage. What are the patients going to think if they come to know about it? Ki mera doctor wahan naach raha hai, he's singing like that. Is it not going to affect? This was not like a fear, but like a friendly warning given by friends. But believe me, it is completely the opposite. If patients come to know that you are involved in activities other than medicine, and you are able to give joy and pleasure to so many people, they are happier. They in fact come out of their mold and start talking about it and actually start appreciating it, and they feel that you are amongst them. You're like a common man. You also have common ways of life, living and enjoying, and that you can, you're not just a very strict professional talking business and doing your craft, but you're able to come out and behave normally. And I think it has in these times when the medical practitioners are, we've been at the receiving end of the general public because of certain negative things which keep happening in all walks of life. But this is a very, very positive vibe that the community has. All patients, relatives, and not that we do programs for patients or relatives, but obviously in the community, the word spreads. At some point of time, some patient is going to know that this is what you're doing. But they appreciate it and they connect with you much better, and they feel that you're doing a service which is making people happy. Also, giving awareness for relevant medical and social problems, also raising charities. And like we have been able to raise charities for pediatric cardiac heart surgeries, almost 19 lakhs in one program. For hearing and speech handicapped school, raised charity in one program for about 10 lakhs, and so on and so forth.
Srinivas is listening, sir. Srinivas is listening.
Yeah. I'm taking notes.
So, so many things start happening, really.
Yeah. Sir, one last question. Yeah, Srini. Yeah, sorry.
Sir, one of the audience question. We also have a talented group of singers in Thane. It's called as OR-TAP. So Orchestra of Thane Association of Pediatrics. So there's one Amrita Durge who is asking whether is there any way to collaborate or join tuning folks? Is it an open forum? How do we approach?
Well, we all started as a bunch of 4 or 6 and we have become 14, and someone or the other is there sometimes in one program and sometimes we keep mixing and matching. So we'll be more than happy. All our programs which we have done outside Mumbai, for example, whether it's in Aurangabad, Banaras, Cuttack, Bhubaneswar, Goa, always and Delhi for that matter, we've had a urologist, an anesthetist, cardiologist who've been singing with us in partnership in Delhi, and we've invited them in Mumbai and they've collaborated with us to do a program. We are more than happy for more medical personnel, and of course we've kept it specifically only for medical consultants. We're not getting involved with other professionals because it will not because it will dilute, because I think the USP of this group is that it is medical consultants who are singing together for a cause. So we are more than happy for anyone, whether it is Thane or whether it is Dombivli, to join us or to do a venture together, and we'll all learn from each other, and the only mission is to make people happy. So certainly we look forward to as many people in time to join us, or we can collaborate with them, do a program in Thane or elsewhere. In fact, we did a program in Thane just last month at the Kashinath Danekar Auditorium. So
yes.
So Amrita, please take a note. Next time we can have a joint this one with OR-TAP and tuning folks.
Most certainly.
It will be a feast.
It will be our pleasure. It will be our pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
So before we come back to the general panel, one last question to Dr. Bradu. Sir, it's just a passing question, like because now you're such a professional outfit, has it taken away anything from your the original passion and the enthuse that you had for singing, and singing as a pure hobby that you had? Has it taken away from that passion just because you're now so professional about it?
Well, I wouldn't say we're really professional, but first of all, because we don't charge and we're not paid for that, so it's not a livelihood. In fact, because we are successful or happy professionals in the medical field, we ourselves are able to contribute, and we feel happy to contribute to make sure that these programs go on. I don't think it is a hurdle in any way for our own passion, because I think our passion was to share with people. Our passion was to go out as a group. Our passion was to give wholesome entertainment. And we are not talking about, we are obviously not boasting to be a classical or a semi-classical learned group of singers here. But what we feel is that a common man looks for entertainment and wants to be happy and wants to have a good time. If we can improvise in our own techniques, and it's a learning process, I think every program we do, we learn from them. And we also feel that you're only as good as your last program. If you keep saying that I did a program 5 years ago and it was a mega hit and everybody liked it, it's old story. For us, every program is a challenge, and every program has to be met with the same challenges and same expectations. And what makes you happy? After the long 2-year drawn-out pandemic where we didn't have a single auditorium program, the first program we had on the 2nd of April, 2022, and at the Fine Arts Auditorium, which is a 1200 capacity, we had an audience waiting before time. If it was a 6 p.m. starting, at 5 to 6, the audience was ready and we could start at 6 p.m. sharp. That was the response we had. And as you can see in this slide, we, in between April and June, in the span of only 2 months, we've already done 4 auditorium programs. It's been so busy and so difficult for us not to be able to say yes to people who love this sort of thing. And for this, I mean, this is the right forum. We have been invited to do a program on the 9th of July in dedication to the Doctors' Day event, because 1st and 2nd July, most doctors would be busy in so many other commitments. We thought maybe 9th July is a segregated day where we could celebrate this with all our doctors and their families and friends. So it's an invitation to all of you and your friends and family and your colleagues. Please feel free. We'll obviously send to you all the details. But the program is at Bandra at the very good SL Reja Auditorium, which is just opposite National College at Bandra West, 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, 9th of July. All members of the tuning folks, as you can see in this slide, they will be happy to engage with you, meet up with you and interact with you and entertain you. And I would be very, very happy if most of you can come for that program.
I'm sure, sir. I'm sure. After hearing you talk and about the passionate way that you approach this whole thing, I'm sure that you're going to have people great crashing and waiting to get into the auditorium even if there is no space. Yeah. So as we say, life is a song. We sing it as we go along. And thank you so much, Dr. Bradu.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so these were some questions that were specifically directed to you, but now we're going to come back to our panel and we're going to ask them some general questions before we wind up for the day. Srini, shall we start?
Yeah, so the most common question, sir, I think all of you should answer this individually. How do you balance your work and life? Yeah, you can start, sir, because you're unmuted. So just a brief answer.
So yes. So I think the basic thing which I learned in 2010 is that we as busy clinicians, waste our Sundays in academics. Actually, we have 52 Sundays at your disposal, which are yours, which is your personal time, which is for you, for your family, for your friends, for your hobby. And we invariably, if we are busy clinicians, we get involved with the teaching or learning or webinars, and then because of a friend, and we keep traveling, and therefore we do not get any time at all. I feel if we keep half of Saturday after 2 p.m. and Sunday for yourself, and you can just do nothing, you will still have enough time to be able to pursue your hobbies and be able to do what you want. And I feel most of us are in that position, and we can actually do that, and it's not difficult. And most patients are also very adjusting and understand that the doctors also have personal lives and family lives, and that they should not be encroaching on their Sundays. Of course, you have to have a team to take care of the backup and all, but this is one thing which makes everything possible.
So, Rupate sir, your take on work life and work hobby balance. Sir, you're unmuted, sir. Just unmute yourself, please.
Can you listen to me now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, see, the thing is, March, April, May, and June are very hot. So during that time, we don't do any trekking in the Sahyadris. So our really trekking starts in the month of last week of June till September. October again is hot, and then the November, December, January. So 6-7 months of a regular trekking in 12 months, I think that should not be a problem. Once a month, at least you go for a trekking 6 or 7 treks. And one big trek about 10 to 15 days somewhere in the Himalayas or somewhere abroad. I don't think that should be a big problem as far as the practice is concerned at this age of life.
That sort of, Madam, Dr. Indole, Madam, anything you would like to say?
Yeah, I feel, of course, work, definitely you have to do, but you are never indispensable anywhere. And you have to live for yourself. That if you really accept that as well as realize that, then the balance, work-life balance is not really very difficult.
So one thing, sort of, I find that common in all our panelists today is that sort of, at least in the Dr. Bradu's case as well as Madam's case, is that these passions they sort of took on in life or sort of gave more importance to these passions once sort of they were more settled in their professional careers. So any word of advice regarding to all our listeners and to maybe to even younger consultants, like, what stage in their career is a good stage, like, what is like the best time to start indulging in your passion? I think should we start with Dr. Upate, sir?
See, we are all working together so that we can pursue our hobbies. And if for our hobbies only we don't find a time in the name of for the sake of profession or the money, I don't think it's a nice way to live in life. Okay. So I personally feel that for your hobbies, whatever you are earning, you should spend it also for your hobbies and enjoy your life.
Bradu, sir, can we afford to wait?
I think there is no really no formula which can be for everybody. I think if you have a hobby or if you have a passion and if you're good at something, you should pursue it all the time. There is no need to wait for a particular age for that to start. Maybe we were unfortunate that we realized it a little late. Maybe it was the right time for us. We may not have been able to do a good job of this earlier. So no one knows what is lying in front of him or her. But certainly, I don't think any time and every time is a good time to do what you want to do. If you feel from your heart and from your mind that you want to do something which gives you happiness and more, it can make other people happy, please go ahead. Don't get limited by your medical professional work and the timing to do that. I think we're just getting dragged into another area, and we are always capable. We are far more talented to be able to do that. And I think all of us should believe in ourselves and do that.
I have many regrets not having started running earlier.
Not really, no regrets. I'm very happy that whatever has happened before I started running, that was great. And about your question about when should you start doing these things, your passions, I always feel right from your childhood, if you are given that understanding that your hobby and passion is equally important to your whatever profession you are going to finally follow in your life. So from there itself, you start and you really start understanding how to have that balance between work and life. And the life definitely becomes more beautiful and more balanced. So
I think that's a very important. I think
wonderful.
Yeah.
I completely agree, Venkat. If your heart, your mind listens to your passion, you always find time for it. So always it can be accommodated. I think most of us are waiting to hear Bradu's sir's song. So can you play it, Venkat?
Yeah, I will play. Just a couple of more, I think, questions before we wind up. So sort of like, I just wanted to know, like, any word of advice regarding how to get our families involved in our passions, or whether you think that, our passion is a separate compartment and, a family is a separate compartment, or whether you should try and involve them and, try to sort of get them along in celebrating, what you are pursuing. Bradu, Dr. Bradu, sir?
Well, I feel if your family sees you enjoying it and seeing that you're happy and you're even you're able to grow with what you're doing, automatically they feel that they can also join with you and contribute. Obviously, if you're doing something which is only for yourself, which is a selfish motive, which only gives you satisfaction and happiness and doesn't involve other people, it can dissuade the family from being part of what you're doing. But it's unlikely. If I think you share what you're doing, the family automatically will get attached to it. In my case, my wife has always been very supportive, and my children have always given a thumbs up to what we are doing. And although they may not necessarily be there for what we are doing all the time, but they say, well, that's the way to go. If you want to do something, if you have a passion for something, just go for it. That's the signal I've got from them. And I think in all our colleagues, the families have the same response. So I don't think it's an issue.
Anybody else, ma'am? Dr. Rupavati, anybody wants to say anything about this?
It's up to the family people to decide. Okay, my wife comes for the hike. Sometimes she wants. Okay, it all depends on her availability of the time. But she has never really said no for anything up till now. And whenever she gets time, she will come. Simple.
Okay. Right. I think we have had such a wonderful and sort of inspiring and very meaningful sort of discussion with each of our guests. And as we can see from the chat box.
Why don't we introduce all our UMANG founder members, because many of them are coming to UMANG platform for the first time.
Yeah. So is Dr. Gauri around? And Dr. Gauri is she's the driving force and one of the founder members. Dr. Gauri, can you sort of
unmute yourself?
Yeah,
unmute
hi,
yourself and come in? Hi.
Dr. Alpa is here. She is also one of the team member. Dr. Kanchan.
I think
please come on to camera, all of you.
Yeah, please turn on your cameras and
say hello.
Dr. Pinky.
Hello, everyone.
So they are also they are also a driving force in among Jupiter consultants for a lot of other activities that goes on in Jupiter, like our academic programs. And just now, in Yoga Day, we had Dr. Alpa doing a yoga session for everybody. And Dr. Pinky is the head of our academic, meetings that go on. I think these ladies have, generally taken it upon themselves. They live life to the hilt. Zindagi na Milegi, Dobara is their motto, definitely. And I think thank you everybody for being a part of.
Prajakta is also here. Prajakta.
Dr. Prajakta, yes, she's a psychiatrist and is, I think, definitely one of the part of the founding members again for UMANG. Lovely team, and they've been doing great work. As I said at the beginning, this is going to be the 17th edition of having these wonderful meetings and discussions. I thank all our guests for having participated so wholeheartedly and sharing their life with us and sharing their passions with us. Thank you, Dr. Rupavati, sir, and we are going to definitely follow you and follow the book that you have written. Dr. Bradu, sir, we take you up on your invitation for the Doctors' Day concert, and Madam, we surely hope that we are able to join you in one of the long runs, or at least one of the smaller runs somewhere in Thane.
Yeah, sure. Would really look forward to that.
Everybody is waiting for Dr. Bradu's song.
Yes. So here we are, and yes, here it goes. I'm sure actually people would love to hear him sing live also, but here we are.
No audio, Venkat.
Again? Oh, no. Just a second. I'm so sorry.
You can go live, sir.
Yeah, you can even.
That's the best thing.
Is the audio heard now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
महकी ठंडी हवा ये बता, मेरे यार की गली का क्या तुझको है पता। हवा ने हंस के कहा, अरे सुन ले उसका पता, मिलना है यार से तो जा बॉम्बे टू गोवा। Bombay Goa, 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 Bombay Goa. प्यार का सफर
महकी महकी ठंडी हवाएं बता
वाह 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 वाह
मेरी यार की गली का क्या तुझको है पता
वाह 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 वाह
ला 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 ला
माँ ने हंस के कहा अरे सुन ले उसका पता मिलना है यार से तो जा बॉम्बे टू गोवा वाह 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 ये है प्यार का सफर ये है प्यार का सफर ये है प्यार का सफर
Thank you, sir.
A pleasure.
Definitely a pyar ka safar only. And I'm sure everybody really enjoyed hearing that clip. Thank you once again to the UMANG team. I think I'll just request Gauri to sort of sign off on our behalf.
Thank you, Venkat Srini for Srini is conducting from Frankfurt. Thank you, Srinivas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Special thanks and thank you Rupade sir, Radu sir, and Indole madam for this one session. It was very interactive session, and we had maximum attendance today. Thank you everyone. Thank you.